Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Left, Wrong, and Center.
I'm center left.
And I'm libbing out.
Ooh.
It is Wednesday, November 5th,
2025.
It is the day after the biggest day for people in politics.
This year.
In the year after a presidential election.
Mm-hmm.
I am in my democracy hoodie because, as I said, I am libbing out today. We are basically here just to talk about last night.
It was a great night last night.
What an insane... honestly, I'm kind of downplaying... You saw me reacting last night at the Vogel watch party here in Erie.
It was honestly a historic night, Kyle. Like, it was just...
With no sense of... Completely truthfully, historic night.
Like, it was crazy. Couldn't believe it.
This is the night... So this is the night that I've been needing all year long. I think with the way things went last year, the national mood and, like, what has happened throughout 2025 at the federal level, watching state-level Republicans... capitulate, watching what's going on with the media, watching the institutions crumble. I mean, it's been a pretty bleak year news-wise and politically and for the future of the country. And this does not fix those issues by any stretch of the imagination, but it's a sign of life. It's a sign of a pulse. And as we're going to get into, it's also incredibly... heartening to see some of the coalition changes that have happened this year, that we've had some evidence of happening in special elections, but these are the two. Like this was a big night.
Yeah, and it showed a lot of data points that I think are going to translate into next year and the year after that. I think that you're seeing maybe a realignment, maybe not. Maybe this is a one-off, but I think what you're seeing across the board, locally here in Pennsylvania, all the way up to New Jersey and Virginia, is that Democrats ran really strong races, and the Republicans put up, in most cases, I would argue, some of the weakest candidates I've ever seen. And that the Democrats had a winning message. They worked harder. They outworked the Republicans. They showed up and they did what they needed to do to win. And the base of the Democratic Party showed up last night across the nation.
Across the entire country, because there's a lot of focus on, I think Prop 50 was a big one. Everyone was obsessed with the New York mayoral race. We'll talk about all that. New Jersey, Virginia. But there were also some races, and there was a race in a key... voter suppression initiative in Maine that failed. We had two statewide races in Virginia that the Democrats...
Georgia.
Excuse me. Yeah, Georgia.
Georgia, yeah, the Public Service Commission.
The Public Service Commission, where the Democrats bodied the Republicans.
Yeah, it's kind of shocking, Kyle, and I think across the board, the margins for all the candidates that we're going to be talking about tonight, or this podcast, the margins are what kind of blows my mind. Like it's not like a squeaker. It's not like they won. It's like they won, no contest.
But also and we'll get into it, and I don't want to spoil it now, but if you are on election Twitter, you see people with their personal 2 cents kind of going back and forth, and a lot of the Republican cope of if Democrats don't hit this percentage, then it's pretty bad for them. And then as a Democrat, you're watching it and then you're going, wait, what if we don't hit that number? Then is that bad? That's kind of, and apparently was not a concern at all the entire time.
No.
So do you want to start local?
Yeah, let's start local and work our way up.
Let's start with, I'm speaking to the auditor-elect of Mill Creek Township, Pennsylvania.
Thank you very much, everyone. Yes, I am the auditor-elect of Mill Creek Township. It is a very important role in our local government. Some might say it's the most important role in government. I'm doing a little sarcasm there, but it's an honor. I won my election last night.
Handily.
No contest, to be completely honest. I won every single precinct in Mill Creek Township, which that includes Republican-leaning precincts. I won our home where we grew up, which is a Republican precinct, by 9 percentage points. I'm really excited about the opportunity to serve my community, but it was a 19-point win for me.
I mean, 59-41, is that right?
Correct.
I mean,
or
it was
18, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's insanely cool. And what I like about this is it's an auditor position. It's not one of those people that everyone's like, one day, like I will be an auditor.
Right.
But like, you're somebody who's been involved. You hit the TV circuit around Erie. You were out in the community doing the work to advocate for the things that you believed in this election.
Right.
And that ballot initiative, the Mill Creek study, unfortunately passed.
It did pass, which is. And you know what? It's not the end of the world, and that's the thing I kept telling.
It sucks, but it's not the end of the world.
It's not the end of the world. We'll figure out a way going forward. But with my local race here in Mill Creek Township, the Republican was unopposed, and I won my write-in during the Democratic primary this past year with 171 votes of people writing me in, and I truly believe, even though no matter how small the office is. Yeah. You're still serving the community. People put their faith and trust and vote behind you. So I'm not going to let them down with anything that I do. And I'm excited that, not in an arrogant way, but, I can be a leader for Mill Creek and, put myself forward in that sense.
Yes. And also it goes to the point of like what you and I talk about a lot is like you're doing something.
Yeah.
Like you are again, like you're not taking on Donald Trump or the Republic, but like you are what you just said, serving your community. You are going out and actually putting yourself forward. You got yourself on the ballot. You ran a campaign.
Right. I went door to door for it.
You did. You made campaign lit. Like it's.
I didn't spend any money. I mean, it's a very low level position, but the goal that I think our listeners should take away from this is that. Even in your community, if you can make a difference by running for one of these, ceremonial roles or even school board or local township council, do it.
Do it.
We need solid people in these positions who aren't there to have an agenda. My opponent had an agenda, and it was very clear that he had an agenda, and I'm glad that I defeated that agenda.
Yeah.
So, and we can now move on to the other ones. I don't want to spend too much time on my commanding victory.
But I do want to say congratulations.
Thank you. I'm honored, really.
It's what you...
I'm blown away by the I'm not even going to lie. I'm genuinely blown away by the percentage
and the fact
margin.
That over 10,000 people voted for you. It's
correct.
Cool.
It's cool. It's super cool. Like, as an election nerd, like, I was just talking to Kyle. We were looking at the Virginia map, and I'm like, I got more votes than some of these people, like Abigail Spanberger did in some of these counties in Virginia. Like, I was like, ooh. But you know what I mean? Like, it is cool, but I have to remain humble because it's
great.
It is it's an honor to serve.
It's so cool.
But you will not you'll be seeing me out and about.
But it's cool. It's okay to say it's cool.
Oh no, I'm like really
awesome.
I'm jazzed about it. Don't get me wrong. I put it on my LinkedIn today. I put auditor elect.
Of course you did. So that's awesome. Some other things. I mean, so Democrats had a good night in Erie, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, and in Pennsylvania. Let's talk about Pennsylvania and then go to the national ones.
Let's start the local level and then
that's what I mean.
Yeah,
right.
yeah. So Democrats had a good night in Erie across the board. The only thing that I think was a bit of a bummer was the Mill Creek study,
which wasn't in a partisan lens, to be completely fair. I mean, people went and voted, and they voted one way or the voters. I'm saying the study was, I think,
study was absolutely partisan,
but the voters, they went in and. I don't know if I was convincing people to vote no as they were walking into their precinct yesterday.
People didn't know
they
what
didn't
it was.
know. And they didn't know that was on their ballot. They were there to vote for county executive or they were there to vote for supervisor, and they voted yes or no. And honestly, I get why people voted yes based on the ballot question without any other context.
Yeah, which is but again, that's why civic engagement and being informative is so important, which is what you were doing. So I mean, more of that in the future, obviously, is key.
I'll add one thing. The people who were doing the Mill Creek Study Commission were very upset that I was taking a stand against what they were doing, and they were very angry that I was going after them. And there was others who were doing it too. However, it's not just because you have an idea doesn't mean that you have a monopoly on ideas.
Sure.
So me going after them and saying, hey, I don't think this is right. I don't like what your result is. I think that they were a little blown away by that, but I dealt with some really nasty attacks from them and I figured it out. But also I want to just say this too, when it comes to the Mill Creek study, I think the signs were confusing because it was vote yes on our judges and then vote no, vote yes. I think people were just like, I'm circling yes for everything.
Yeah.
And I think that might've been intentional as well.
Yeah. I don't think, again, like it's a lower level not a national race, is not a hair on fire.
Right.
But again, like this is kind of
it's who paves your roads.
You got to pay attention.
Right. It's who paves your roads. It's who shovels your snow. It's who protects your streets. That's what like these municipal elections are so important for. And the eyes are all on like New York and stuff, but across the nation, Minneapolis, Buffalo, Harrisburg, other places as well. Mayors were elected or reelected last night, and that's the thing that really does affect your day-to-day life on a lot of sense, in a lot of sense, and it's a shame that people don't show up, but it was a pretty good result. And so let's move into the county races.
So in the city of Erie, Daria Devlin, who was
slaughtered,
like
77 to 23, I think, last time I checked.
Yeah, won her. So she is the new mayor-elect of Erie, Pennsylvania. Mill Creek supervisor races, which will no longer be in 2 years because of this study. But I've been driving through Mill Creek, which there are people who listen to this all over the place. So this probably won't mean much to you. We will move into like Virginia and New Jersey and New York and all that. But driving through Mill Creek, you would think that Harry Morgan was about to run away with the election, and he lost.
He did. He lost by 9 percentage points. And, I was talking to Harry earlier this week. He's a Republican. And I was like, you're a nice enough guy. And,
You're the first person I've heard say that.
Well, you know what I mean. He was nice. I was just, chatting with him. This is a good reminder. Signs don't vote. And just because you see a lot of signs on street corners doesn't mean that they're going to win. And that was a good reminder for me because when the results came in, the Democrat, Kylie Morris, who's a physician here in Erie, won by 9 percentage points. And that's not close. I mean, it's under 10.
It's closer than what some of them were, but
it's pretty much a blowout in one of those races.
And I walked in. And this is no disrespect to her.
You're a city voter.
I didn't know who she was.
Yeah.
And I walked in, and I saw somebody wearing a Kylie Morris button, and I walked up and I was like, oh, I heard she's doing really well. And I was excited because I knew she was a Democrat, and I was like, okay, great, like, cool.
Let's do it.
And she kind of looked at me confused, and I was like, Kylie Morris is doing really well. She was like, I'm Kylie. I was like, oh, nice to meet you. I was like, I've been rooting for you, but like, I think that is an indicator of how last night kind of went, where it's like our brand, the Republican brand,
it's tarnished.
There's a lot of talk right now about how unpopular Democrats are, and
right.
the Democratic brand is kind of under attack within itself. Like people are not happy with our leadership. The Republican brand is very toxic right now as well, and we got our first glimpse of that last night. Jeremy Leitner, who was on this podcast a couple months ago, who is a Democrat, who happened to win the Republican nomination for a nonpartisan office, lost by 10 points, which is unfortunate.
But he lost to a Democrat. I mean,
I voted for him.
Yeah.
I like that he is a tough on crime Democrat who has that track record. He's open-minded. He's a nice person. He went door to door. He worked very, very hard.
He really did.
Emily Mursky is also a good person. She has a lot of name recognition. She had a lot of money behind her. She won that race by about 10 points as well. He put up a fight. He's going to run again in 2027. I'm excited to support him then.
Absolutely.
The race that I think we're both the most excited about,
that we're jazzed about,
is Christina Vogel,
friend of the pod.
She'll be back on. I was texting her this morning. Won her county executive race. Now, we've talked about Brenton Davis and what a joke he is. All this year, it's kind of been like, are we going to oust him? Are we going to get rid of him? Is he like in danger? And the vibes lately, like the last couple weeks, we've been talking. I'm like, the vibes kind of feel like she's going to win.
Yeah. I thought she was going to win under 10 points.
I thought she was going to win by like 5.
No, that's not negative to her.
It's not at all.
I thought it was just because we're a competitive county.
We are a competitive county, and Brenton Davis won by 4 last time, so you get that incumbency advantage. And she won by 25 points.
She won every coalition. She won rural, urban, suburban. She won Democrats, Republicans, Independents. I mean, she blew it out of the water. That
map
is insane.
Looks like 2008.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was texting former Congresswoman and former County Executive Kathy Dahlkemper, also friend of the pod, earlier today. She was like, last night reminded me of November 4th, 2008. And I'm like, I mean, obviously it's a local race. There's no presidential anything on the ballot, but like that victory is insane.
I mean, and it was like, it needs to be said first, and I always say this, but we've been very open. We supported Perry Wood in the primary,
Yeah.
but we jumped right in for Christina Vogel the day after. I texted her team the day after. I was like, let's go. Like, whatever you need me to do. I think that it is very important for people to take a lesson here that, you know, outsiders can make a difference. And I think she has. So I'm very impressed and excited that she came in and she literally cleaned the clock.
She cleaned the clock. And what I named our second interview with her, the episode was just a normal person. That because I took a quote. That's what I said to her. I was like, you're a normal person. I think people like that. And she was everywhere. She was out talking to people. Like, you would see pictures on her social media, and there weren't necessarily crowds of like hundreds of people, but she's got a dozen here, a dozen there. She's going
to Corey. She was going to Union City. She was going everywhere she needed to go.
And I think people took notice. And she's a Democrat, and we've talked, and she believes in a lot of the things that I believe in, but like, I think she was just kind of like, hey, I'll talk to whoever.
Right. I don't think she's a ideological person. I don't think she's, sitting there being like, I'm a Democrat. Like, she's a Democrat. She's a good person, and she's going to do a great job.
And she kept the race local.
And absolutely. And that's the thing that I think backfired on Davis, where Davis, has been a very... And here's the thing, where it sounds like you're discounting Christina's win by saying how horrible he was. If she had won by 3 points, that would be like, oh, people hate Bretton Davis, and they just voted for the alternative. He is loathed across the county.
Yeah.
I mean, from the child abuse to the sodomization charges that he has to that's a criminal term.
Are these... So these are allegations at this point?
These are allegations that were in front of a judge.
We want to make sure that we are very clear. But
I'm not saying he did these things. These things are just out in the community.
Yeah.
To the bullying of people, to the constant warfare with county council, to the unwillingness to work with anyone, to the just kind of jerk nature of him, to the lying about his military service, to just being a hostile person. He got absolutely bodied, and all these are my opinion. I'm not saying they're facts. These are all my opinion about him, but it's embarrassing. He got 37% of the vote in Erie County. Trump won this county with 49% of the vote last time. I mean, it's a dramatic drop down for the Republican.
And ironically, because we have so many bigger races to talk about, but this is the race, when I saw the results and when I saw the map and where she was winning, this is the race that actually, of any other race, makes me feel like there is potential realignment, potential in the future.
Yeah.
Not saying that the next Democratic nominee for president is going to win those same areas, but I'm saying down ballot Democrats have the ability to go into these areas and win. And I'm so impressed by Vogel's performance, and
she rocked it.
I think she's going to be very good at the job.
And I don't want to put her family on blast, but I think
on
it was
blast.
Her kids. No, blast. Well, I don't want to out her family, but they were so happy for her. It was awesome.
Yeah.
I think her daughter was crying.
Yeah.
It was just really genuine to see such a great. It makes me teary, to be honest.
Yeah.
And then in Erie County, also the sheriff's race, it was a blowout for Chris Campanelli.
The last
Democrat.
margin I saw was 89-11 or something. What did the final margin end up being? Do you know?
It was 60-40.
Okay, yeah.
And then Aubrey Haynes was for clerk of records, which is a ridiculous position to run for politics because it's so technical. It should just be a career person, and that's what she is. Aubrey Haynes won with 61% of the vote against a literal no-name 24-year-old. And then the retentions for the Supreme Court passed, all of them 61% of the vote, and the maps look awesome. The old coalitions came back for that one. So some of the rural counties voted yes to retain them. And then also locally, we flipped all the row offices in Bucks County, which is suburban Philadelphia, including sheriff and district attorney, the first ever Democrat district attorney for that county. And then in Luzerne County, which is an ancestrally Democratic county that has shifted hard to the Republicans in the last 10 years.
And Shapiro won, right?
Shapiro, they like Shapiro. They flipped their county council to Democrat control.
Where was it that the school board ousted every Republican?
Bucks. Sorry,
Bucks.
There is a Bucks County too.
Those school boards were responsible for a lot of the book.
Yeah, they're crazy.
like crazy Republicans.
And it's taken years for them to out them.
Yeah.
Or not out them. To oust them.
Yeah.
So they started the process to oust them because a lot of them got elected in 2021, in 2023, and then this time they completely gutted them. That side of the state is really engaged politically, and there's just so many cool things happening. But the retentions were solid, and then Brandon Newman and Judge Stella Stye, they both won their statewide races for Superior Court and Commonwealth Court respectively by I'm rounding, but 60-40 again. It was 56 something, but I mean, it's just a great night in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, Pennsylvania's good.
Yeah, felt really good. Let's move on. Which state do you want to go to?
I want to start with Virginia because
let's highlight on Georgia just like 1 second. We flipped two long-term public service commissioners
for the first time
60-40
since 2006.
Right, which is nuts that even happened, including the utility regulator of Georgia.
And these people that's not nonpartisan office. They have Democrat and Republican next to their names.
I mean, it's just insane. Like the hopium that I'm on right now is insane.
Well, I think Georgia is, we're not going to win. John Ossoff next year will probably win by 5 points?
Yeah, right.
Maybe more.
I doubt it. Yeah.
Maybe more. Who knows?
5.
Depending on the environment. Georgia is Donald Trump won last year by 2 points. It was the state that shifted the least rightward, the swing state that shifted the least rightward relative to the nation. It is a left trending state very, very fast. So, I mean, this is kind of taking last night and turning it into a much bigger thing. But as we talk about the Rust Belt, where Obama won Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin by
Indiana.
By God level margins
Assad
in
level.
2008.
Yep.
And it's kind of slowly dwindled. I think the Sun Belt is going to end up being the future of our party.
Why not both?
I don't see why not both, but I think we have an opening.
Right, we do.
Where, North Carolina's kind of been fool's gold for us, but last year in a very terrible national environment for Democrats, Harris lost narrowly at the top of the ticket, and all down ballot Democrats won.
Right.
I think North Carolina is gettable for us. I think we're going to win next year with Roy Cooper. I think Georgia is going to continue to trend blue. I believe in Blexus. I think we need that first breakthrough, and then I think it's going to be the dominoes falling.
Races.
Yeah.
Hopefully not Sam. That's our party chairman, Sam Tallarico.
James
Tallarico pulls it off for the primary.
I hope dearly because I think Colin Allred would be a liability, and I think a James Tallarico versus Ken Paxton race
will be great.
Could be a win for us.
Winnable.
I'm curious to see what continues to happen in Arizona because it was shifting our way
dramatically, and then it dramatically slid
and then it
back.
went right back to Trump. But I think that had a lot to do with immigration
And Latinos.
and as we saw with Adelita
Grijalva,
that coalition came snapping right back. To her earlier this year in her special election, which she won and still has not been sworn in by the Speaker of the House.
The longest ever.
He's an insurrectionist.
And she also. Well, I don't want to jump in on that.
And I think that the shifts in Nevada last year, if some of the trends from last night hold up, were maybe temporary. So I think that Sun Belt path looks optimistic.
Yep.
We'll see. But let's talk about Virginia.
Yep. Let's move into Spanberger territory.
So we talked about Virginia on our last episode and what our predictions were. And
what was my prediction?
Your
Kyle?
prediction was 15. And guess what she won by, everyone? 15.
15, baby.
Now, what's remarkable about that is I saw exactly one poll that had her at 15 points.
Yep.
It was from YouGov. I sent it to you last week. I was like, maybe this could happen. Who knows? But the majority of polling had her winning by 11, 12, which still would have been an impressive victory. But I don't know what to say about Abigail Spanberger other than that was an unbelievably impressive performance. She understood the assignment locally. She understood that this race sends a message. Kind of going back to something that we talked about in our last episode.
Yeah.
Ralph Northam,
the GOAT,
in 2017. After the first Trump term,
won by 9.
And remember the reaction to that was, wow, Republicans are in trouble next year.
And if you're a religious listener of this podcast, you'll recall that I said take a look at the congressional districts that she wins. Yes. Right. So Ralph Northam won by 9, but he did not win certain congressional districts that the next year flip to the Democrats, right? If that holds up right now, it's like if this is really the future for next year, and I know I'm on hopium, right? And I know the Dems are trying to redraw the maps or whatever, but the maps as they are, Abigail Spanberger won Virginia 1, which is a solid Republican district. And then she won Virginia 2, which is a competitive, lean Republican district. And then she came close in Virginia 5, which is a solid Republican district. So I think all three of those are on the table next year, and we need to get really good candidates in all three of them.
Yep.
She won everywhere, and she won in the suburban areas. She juiced up turnout in Loudoun County. I saw somewhere that she won, is it 85% of women? Or college-educated women, maybe something. It was a crazy margin. It was something like that.
Let's look, because I have the education. High school graduate, some college, bachelor's degree, 60-40. Bachelor's degree, advanced degree, 68-32. Associate's degree, 53-47. Some college, 55-45. All to Spanberger. High school graduate, Winsome Earl Sears won 54-46.
Yeah, and that makes sense, and that all checks out. And so my point being is, if you look at the map in 2018, where we won 40 House seats, the people who won the seats in the frontline districts are people like Abigail Spanberger, Alyssa Slotkin, Joe
Mikie
Cunningham, Mikie Sherrill, as well as I forget where else, but Oklahoma 5, Utah 4, for example. Those are other ones that we won.
Nerd.
Yes, but they were solid Republican districts the 2 years before. Then the Democrats flipped them. Things are a little bit different now. Things are a little more polarized. Things are also just, it's a different world than it was. But take a look at what Abigail Spanberger did in her congressional districts, where she flipped a solid Republican seat in 2018, held on to it until 2024, and then decided not to run for the election. And then the Democrats still won her seat. And then she ran for governor. This is the future of winning elections in competitive areas. You got to take the model of Spanberger, Sherrill. They're not the most, I can't use the word sexy because it sounds wrong.
But
they're not the most like suave candidates. Like, they're not going to put out a super cool, fast-paced TikTok, right? They are methodical people who can relate to the people in their district, and we need more people like them.
Yeah.
And they're not coming from political royalty for the most part, these people. They are coming from the working class or the law enforcement background or the military background or government service. These are the people that we need to be boosting.
And I think it's this is just kind of like, I guess, a personal anecdote, but I think it's kind of funny that they are from each other's. Mikie Sherrill is from Virginia. Abigail Spanberger is from New Jersey.
That's right.
They were roommates they were elected in the same blue wave in 2018. They were roommates in D.C. and now they're both leading major states in the United States. But I want to kind of go back to the top line.
Yeah, go ahead.
So like those congressional districts, great sign for 2026. On its face in 2025. That's an incredibly impressive win.
Huge.
Enormous win. And what I like about Abigail Spanberger is she was asked long before they decided to redistrict. She was asked in an interview by Brian Tyler Cohen. I don't know if you ever watched his
He's
stuff.
North Korea announcer. The Democrats can do nothing wrong.
He asked her in an interview, would you be open to redistricting?
Yeah.
And she didn't really answer the question in that interview. But what she said was, this is not going to help us next year. What will help us is getting candidates in these competitive districts and winning those. Like, she seems to me like a party builder, and somebody that is interested in winning.
She just wants to win.
Right. Beyond where she's at, beyond herself.
Right.
And what I also like about her is on most issues, she is well in line with
the mainstream.
The standard Democrat. She is somebody who is comfortable saying, I am what did she say the other day? I'm a tough on crime Democrat.
Yeah.
I'm a law and order Democrat. That's what she said. I sent it to you.
That's right. Yeah.
I like that she's comfortable saying that. I think that she is a direct speaker. I am very impressed by her. And as I've been saying now for a few weeks, like, which, it's probably been longer. You've probably thought this even longer than I have, but like, that to me, we'll talk about it when we get into Mamdani, but that to me, Spanberger for a national model is the future of the Democratic Party.
I have been a fan of hers since 2019. She and Jared Golden were my two. I just adored them in Congress. They were the people who I was like, this is the future of the Dems. This is where we need to go. And they both are just great people. But Abigail in particular here, she is just a down the line Democrat who works together when she needs to,
who is comfortable breaking from the party when she needs to,
right?
On certain, not even necessarily on the issues themselves, but how she speaks about them.
Absolutely. And she's just straightforward, and I think she's going to be a good governor of Virginia. There's some things that I was just talking to my friend in Virginia. They need to cut the car tax. Every 6 months he gets a bill for $1,000 just to own his car. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So hopefully they can implement that. And the Democrats, because of her coattails, won 13
super majority
in the House of Delegates.
I think 14. Didn't we have 50?
I don't know.
And now we're at 64.
That's literally insane.
The most
Kyle.
optimistic projections I had seen were like we might hit 60, maybe 61.
It's just insane.
64. I was following along on election day. All I do is doom scroll and whatever. And I was following along, and I was like, the turnout in Southwest Virginia was apocalyptically bad for Republicans. Winsome Earl Sears was a terrible candidate. I think we can say that fairly.
I think if it was Glenn Youngkin, she would still lose. He would lose by double digits.
I think it might have been closer to 10, but sure. Yeah. Like, I mean,
she was laughably bad. Let's not kid ourselves.
It's hard to overstate not only how good of a job Spanberger and Democrats did, but how bad of a job
the Republicans did.
Earl Sears and the Republicans did, focusing entirely on identity issues, transgender issues, whatever. Jay Jones, who we talked about last week, who has this enormous scandal, who almost like it looks like it might tank him, won by a wider margin than Kamala Harris won the state of Virginia. Like the Democratic Party in Virginia blew it out of the water last night.
They did.
And I think Spanberger in 2028 is a formidable contender for the presidency. And if she doesn't end up getting the nomination, I think she'd be an asset to the bottom of the ticket.
I think she would be great in president or in Senate in 2028, but let's get her, let's let her govern. Let's see what this girl can do.
Yeah.
But I think she's going
to be great.
She's going to be awesome. And the ticket is going to do a good job. And Jay Jones, controversy aside, I think he'll be a fine attorney general. And the lieutenant governor candidate, same thing. She's going to be great.
Kashmir, yeah.
And, I just want to hit on this one more time.
Yeah.
This is like crazy. This is beyond my wildest dreams. And seeing these women from 2018 win and be successful is just so awesome.
Well, and let's kind of connect it to next year.
Yeah.
And what you're kind of hinting at here is like Northam winning by 9.
Right.
Signaled a blue wave.
Correct.
Spanberger won by 15 points.
Right.
Hillary Clinton and Kamala Harris won Virginia by about the same margin.
Correct.
So there's really no, like, other than the candidate quality on the Republican side, like, there's no real reason, like, Spanberger winning by 15 is not something that was, like, written in the stars. Like, no. She just, like, and I think this is a really positive sign for next year.
Oh, yeah.
I want to move on to New Jersey.
Yeah, let's move to New Jersey.
Because as you know, I was watching this one like a hawk. In fact, yesterday, the only race I paid attention to was New Jersey. I saw some stuff in my feed about Virginia. Mm-hmm. I did not care about New York at all. Like, I was like, whatever happens there, like, it's, right. But I was watching New Jersey like a hawk. And I was watching, last week as the in-person early vote was coming in and as Democrats were winning the day. I'm putting that in air quotes for people listening. Registered Democrats were turning out at much higher rates than registered Republicans. In 2024, when Harris won the state by 6 points, Republicans won the day in terms of voter turnout by party registration 5 of the 9 days. Democrats won 4 of the 9 days, and then Kamala won the state by 6. So I was watching these in-person early vote returns. I was watching the mail returns, and I was like, this looks really, really good for us. Mm-hmm. And because Democrats kept winning and winning and winning and winning and banking more and more vote. And then I was like, okay, surely the bottom is going to fall out in election day voting. And I woke up and I was kind of seeing the first returns and I was like, oh my God, no, here it goes. And then I was reading like, oh no, the vote tends to get bluer as the day goes on. And all of these vote drops kept coming. Not, again, we don't know who they were voting for, but like, I followed Umish Voter on Twitter, and he was kind of like repeatedly updating everybody on where things were. And then the Democrats had a net, like, we had more votes, election day votes banked.
Yeah.
Which, so I'm reading this and I'm going, well, this doesn't track with history. This doesn't trend. This doesn't, like, everyone says this election is really close. Are all these Democrats voting Republican? Like, what's going on?
Right.
Are the unaffiliateds breaking really heavily to Jack Sherrill? Like, what's happening? And then, like, with 12% reporting, they called the race for Sherrill. And I was like, what's going on? Sherrill wins this race by 13 points.
Yeah, and the thing about that one is that, and this is going back to the other thing. So two things to say here really quick. The election returns that you're talking about, like the mail-in. Like last night, I'm talking about me again because I won. But I'm just messing around. So when the mail-ins dropped, I was winning 80-20.
Yeah.
80%. Like it was crazy. Mm-hmm. And then like Kylie Morris, who's Mill Creek supervisor, she was winning 77-23. And I knew at that moment I had won because you can't beat that. And then I was like, she won by 9, and I was like, okay, so this is very important to see. The Democrats still have that mail-in advantage. The other thing I wanted to add about this is what we were just talking about there, where people could be like, oh, well, Spanberger was running against a literal lunatic, so it doesn't really matter, blah, 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 blah. Okay, Jack Sherrill is a normal Republican. Well, like, I hate to say it. He is. He's a MAGA Republican, but he's normal.
But I'm going to disagree with you because in 2021, he did not run gluing himself to Trump. In 2024, he did.
Yeah, he has to.
And I just went back over to the New York Times.
I'm trying to give Mikie a prop here.
Oh, no,
where
I know.
She beat a quote-unquote, I think a genuinely the realm
mostly
of normal Republican who was I would again argue a strong candidate. And she still beat him by 13 points.
I would agree that he's a strong candidate. I would agree that he did the retail politics of New Jersey well. My analysis of the race kind of leading up to it was Mikie Sherrill. I think she, in terms of her candidacy, her margin just went up, by the way. In terms of her candidacy, she was fine.
She was not an inspiration. She's fine.
She wasn't a big, like, showy star.
Right.
But she did a fine job. I think she really woke up in the last 2 months.
Yeah.
And I think that she her big thing was tying Chitterelli and the affordability crisis to the Trump economy. And clearly it worked.
And again, look at the results, Kyle. You have to. I'm sounding like a sports announcer. Look at the results. You look at this map. Obviously,
Atlantic County is blue.
Right. She won.
Cumberland
South
County is blue.
Jersey. That's where I think our brother lives in the one above. In
Salem
County. But I think she won Jeff Van Drew's congressional district, and I also think she won Tom Keene's congressional district. So again, this is showing us that. Guess what? Next year, ding, 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 we're going to probably win these seats again.
Sure.
And it's so impressive for us.
And there, a lot of people will hear that and go, well, it's not a midterm.
But you have to look at the data.
The turnout was insane.
Right.
And she is winning by over 400,000 votes. Jack Chitterelli exceeded his 2021 vote total. I think he actually exceeded Phil Murphy's as well. He did.
Yeah.
And Mikie Sherrill banked 400,000-ish votes on top of that.
And I want to say again, next year, this does not mean that next year's a layup. They'll find something that will derail the momentum. So in 2018, this is a quick history lesson. The reason why we lost 4 Senate seats, and we didn't pick up more House seats was the Brett Kavanaugh hearing. It actually backfired. This is statistically proven. It backfired on Democrats. In those states where those Democrats had to take that hard vote to vote against Brett Kavanaugh, and then there was a bunch of other stuff that was going on there, and that's why we lost a lot of those really competitive seats or governor's mansions or whatever, because they galvanized the Republican voters to come out. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So next year, I'm sure that there will be something that will galvanize voters to juice up turnout for the GOP. Hopefully it won't be, do you remember the caravan? That in 2018 they tried there's a caravan of Mexicans coming.
Oh yeah.
So I'm sure they'll find something next year, but again, this is not normal for a party that's in decline, right? So I'm not gassing up the Democrats. You know that I have some issues with certain things, but this is impressive. Like this is just, impressive. You cannot beat this right now.
But I think in some ways, so Spanberger's margin's more impressive. I think Spanberger is more of a star. I think in some ways Sherrill's win is more impressive than Spanberger's.
I totally agree.
The reason for that being, first of all, polling averages showed a 3.7 point race with her in the lead.
Right.
Second, again, not the most show pony candidate.
No, I don't think either of them are, and that's what I like that about.
But I like that. I think that Mikie, Sherrill, they both talked about affordability. If you look at these exit polls, which again are imperfect, but I'm going to pull them up because what blew me away was, okay, so gender by race. White men flocked, of course, to Chitterelli, 59-41, which is not...
That's pretty decent for the Dems.
Not bad for Sherrill. Every other voting bloc voted for her. White women, which is a voting bloc that typically votes Republican, voted for Sherrill 54-46. Wow. Black men were 92-7.
Right.
Black women were 95-4. Latino men, again, another demographic that shifted away from us last year. Mm-hmm. And again, I'm white, so I can't really get into this. Like, this is not my battle to fight, but like, there's a lot of talk about like the masculinity, kind of like macho, like mentality.
Right. There's a lot of reasons why people shifted last year.
61-38, Latino women 73-26, all other voters 69-29.
Yeah, that's great. That means Asians reset too.
Yes. Yeah. Yep. In terms of race, just across the board, white voters, it was 52-47 for Chitterelli. That's very close.
That's great.
Voters of color, 77-22 to Sherrill. Age, Sherrill won every single bracket. 18 to 29-year-olds voted for 69-31, 30 to 44, 67-30, 32, 45 to 64, 51 to 48, and 65 or older, 51 to 48.
This is awesome.
Same with the age. Both major demographics went to her. I mean, it's looking at she won college graduates 62-38. No college degree, 50-49.
That's great.
I'm trying to like look at other stats here. She won 97% of Democrats. She won 7% of Republicans. So the party split here was pretty even for both of them. She won 56% of independents.
Yeah, that's the winning formula.
Polls were projecting him winning independents.
Right.
And I think that's why it was so close in so many polls, was like, okay, there's more registered Democrats in the state than there are Republicans, but the Indies will make it up for him and close the gap.
Right.
That didn't happen.
That didn't. This is just such an impressive margin. I mean, this is a great episode, Kyle.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of like, income. Less than 30,000, 73-25 for Sherrill. That's a group that we lost last year.
Wow.
30K to 50K, 69-30 for Sherrill. 50 to 100K, 51-49 for Sherrill. 100 to 200K, 53-47. 50-50 for 200 to 299K.
That's really interesting.
64 to 36 for 300,000 or more. Rich people voted for her.
That's crazy.
The poorest, every income bracket voted for, except for a split on 200 to 300K. Sorry if this is boring, guys, but this.
I mean, you have to listen.
She won union and non-union households.
Yep.
First time voting for governor, she won 68 to 31. Let's see. I mean, that's pretty standard. Opinion of Trump as president, obviously. she won 97% of Harris voters, whereas Chitterelli only won 93% of Trump voters.
Right.
So there was a 7% crossover from Trump 2024 to Sherrill 2025. We saw, like, Passaic County, is that how you pronounce it? Which is a very, very Latino heavy county. She won after Harris did not last year. She won that 57-42, showing a shift back.
That's sweet.
With Latino voters.
She won Morris County for the first time.
Morris County, yeah, that's crazy. So I think in many ways, Sherrill's win is almost more impressive than Spanberger's. Not that it's a competition.
No, arguably it is.
Spanberger also blew it out of the water with all those demographics.
Right.
The lesson that I think we can take from those two things is we saw a return in both of those races to pre-2024 levels.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where I'm going to let the personal infiltrate for a minute. When we saw some of this erosion last year, now, when we saw this erosion, my gut instinct is, okay, this was a bad race.
Mm-hmm.
This is not necessarily forever. But I didn't know, and we didn't have any data sets until we see this. This makes me feel like there's a heartbeat for the country after Trump. And, like, things can revert, things can go, not just revert, because, like, if you look at those black voter numbers, like, I feel like it's usually, like, 89% Democrat. Like, we're seeing, like, 92% for black women and 95% for black women. That's crazy. So I'm looking at these numbers and I'm heartened by them.
Yeah. Agree.
And I'm talking a lot, I'm sorry. But, like, I think that is incredibly encouraging. That plus, like, the Vogel map that we were talking about,
right,
where she went into these very red areas. Sherrill flipped 5 counties back from Trump to her.
She won South Jersey, too.
Yeah.
It's just incredible.
Which is insane.
And, Kyle, I think we need to cross the Hudson.
I think we can cross the Hudson. So, do you want to start or do you want me to start?
Yeah, I can start. So, Zohran Mamdani won his mayor's race.
Yes, which we knew
was going to happen. So, there's a couple of takeaways that I want to take here. So, we're very firmly in the center left. We believe in a lot of the same principles that Zohran does. I'm
leftier than you, but not by much.
I'm pretty much like I don't like this game that the media plays anymore, where it's like, are we moderate or the progressives?
Which they're doing
all the time.
They pounced on it last night immediately.
Right. I'm on team normal. I want just normal politics. So he ran his race. He ran against disgraced former governor Andrew Cuomo, who has a lot of issues regarding sexual harassment and nursing home deaths and things like that. He won with 50% of the vote last night.
Yeah.
It's actually going to go down, so he will not win a majority of the vote.
You think?
That's what my analysts say.
Okay.
So Andrew Cuomo won 41%. Is that right?
It's 42 to 50 right now.
Yeah, 42 to 50, and then Curtis Sliwa came together with the 7.5. So here's the deal about this. I'm all in if this is what New York wants to do. I want to be very clear here. The party is a big tent party. So we're going to have the party is going to have to make room for people like Zohran Mamdani, which personally, the DSA, I do not agree with almost anything that they stand for. Their platform, I think, is diabolical. Like, I think it's like criminally bad.
Yeah.
But he runs as a Democrat. He wins as a Democrat, even though he voted for himself on the working families ballot line. This election is very interesting. I think if there was any other Democrat who was not Andrew Cuomo, I think it would be different. But I think we are going to see how this works in action. And you're going to see a lot of attacks that are unfair on Zohran Mamdani from the Trump administration. But you have to separate the fair attacks from people in New York on him for, they expect the streets to be clean, the trash taken, public safety, and no more anti-Semitic violence, right? We need to see how he's going to do. I know that he's galvanized a lot of people to vote for him. Mm-hmm. This is a historic mayor election, the highest turnout since 1969. Mm-hmm. Let's see how he does, but let's not write the history books just yet.
I think I agree. I know I agree. Mamdani I'm not a fan.
Neither am I. And it has nothing to do with his ideology, by the way. It's about his ideology in the sense that he refuses to do things. I understand why people like him. He is just not for me personally.
He is not for me. But like, I get it too. I think looking at this race, I'm frustrated already. And again, I've been living out all day. It's been a great day. It was a great night. First of all, the media doing the exact thing we knew they would do, which is, which one is it? You have to pick one.
Right.
Mamdani, Spanberger, Sherrill, all ran on affordability.
Right.
That was their number one issue. All three of them made it about people's finances,
right,
rising costs, whatever. Mamdani is being hailed as the hero who ushered this in. That's not true.
I totally agree.
That is not true.
Right.
Mamdani, in one of the bluest cities in America,
right,
is sitting at an 8-point margin of victory.
Underperforming good old boy Eric Adams.
He underperformed Kamala Harris.
Right.
So we're talking about Spanberger and Sherrill overperforming Kamala Harris in statewide races.
Right.
And in a very blue area. Now, granted, 92% of this vote is for a Democrat.
100%.
So,
right.
like, it's a blue city and the Democrat vote was divided. I totally understand that that's the dynamic at play.
Correct.
But there were people saying, "Oh, he's gonna hit 60." He's just over 50 right now, and I don't know where you're hearing that he's gonna drop below 50, but like, who knows?
They still have to count, I think, a large amount of votes.
Yeah,
it's only from Republican precincts.
It's only 93% of the estimated vote.
So it's going to drop down. I think Cuomo will gain a little bit. I think the thing that I want to highlight on this is I know that this guy excites a lot of people.
Yeah.
The issue with I hate to be the naysayer is that he's an underperformer. His plans are going to have a very hard time getting done.
Mm-hmm.
I get that he's passionate. It would be like me running for New York City mayor. Like, I'm not qualified for New York City mayor. Andrew Cuomo has a checkered past and is is clearly not the best candidate here. And Curtis Sliwa is a joke. Here's the deal. This is a risky game, but my point being is this. People like Mamdani are going to make bluer precincts bluer, while Abigail Spanberger and Mikie Sherrill, are going to make red districts bluer. So I need both in the party. I'm good. I'm fine with it.
Yep.
I mean, I disavow the DSA.
Yep.
100%. I mean, you need to look up their platform. It's actually insane.
No, I have.
It's just just not good.
We're on the same page.
But
I think the caveat that I have is, so first of all, we have eyes are on New York next year. Kathy Hochul's up for re-election.
Right.
Kathy Hochul endorsed Mamdani.
Yeah.
He has not endorsed her back.
Right.
They are going to tie Hochul to him.
Right.
For better or worse. But I think they're going to tie him to her. His rabid supporters are not going to go out and throw their
correct.
They're not going to show up for her like she did for him.
Correct.
Toward the end, I know it was a late endorsement, but whatever.
And the thing about the late endorsements, Kyle, I have to jump in here, is this guy, I get it. People like him. He's not a team player either.
I agree.
He's running against the Democratic Party.
He was uncommitted.
And he's an uncommitted. He's rallying against the Democratic Party in all of his rallies. And then in his victory speech, he's trashing the Democratic Party.
Yeah.
And then to add insult to injury, he's the Democratic nominee. He didn't vote for himself on the Democratic nominee line. He voted for himself on the working families line. That's not the Democratic Party. So don't expect the quote unquote establishment to come in and endorse you and be involved when you hate the establishment. And why would you want their support if you hate them?
Right. And when
I'm not defending them. I'm not defending.
I am defending them a little bit because like Chuck Schumer never endorsed, and I think he's been an abysmal leader in this moment. I don't have a problem with him not endorsing.
Correct.
And I think in some ways, I think the key lesson from last night, in my mind, is that the future of the Democratic Party is local.
Right. Vote
We
local.
don't, and this is something, again, that Harris has been saying. We do not need one savior to swoop in and save us. There are people across the country in whatever zip code, whatever state it is, that are working at the local level, and they're going to be at odds with each other, and that's okay. So I don't like Mamdani personally for a number of reasons. I'm fine with him being liberal, like super, like left, whatever. That's fine. It's not that. I have issues with him and his past and things that he said and things that he has not disavowed and things that he's advocated for. And that's a perfectly valid position to have, and I'm not gonna.
Well, and people act like when you say this, like you'll get attacked. Like if someone's listening who disagrees with us, like we'll be attacked for not being all gung ho.
I don't care.
Here's the deal: the guy has some pretty weird opinions on certain things, and he's a member of the DSA. Their positions, I think, are out of control. Mm-hmm. And like when I say this, Kyle, I mean this. Like this is just the thing that I cannot believe that. Their position is to withdraw the United States from NATO. Mm-hmm. Like, that's just a crazy proposition.
I agree.
Like, I get like I just can't even do it.
I agree. But the point that I'm trying to make is like to what you just said.
Right.
There is room for him.
A New York City Democrat and a Montana Democrat need to be different.
Agree.
Yeah. And that's okay. But you need to give both
There's room for a Mamdani person ideologically. There's room for a Spanberger. There's room for a Christina Vogel.
Right.
There's room for a Kathy Dahlkemper.
Joe Manchin.
And so I'm looking at well, you know, I have issues with him too. But like there's room for all these different people, and the way forward for Democrats is to learn to balance it all out. Mm-hmm. I don't need like the pile-on and the expectation of like, oh, well, why hasn't this person endorsed Mamdani? Why aren't you weighing in on the New York City race? It's like a cult. They're calling him by his first name, which is weird. And it's...
Well, Kyle, Abigail really did a good job in Virginia.
Abigail.
Kyle, Abigail is just so for it. Abigail's great.
But do you understand the point that I'm making?
Yeah,
like
it's a cult of personality.
I don't need Abigail Spanberger to endorse Zoran Mamdani. Oh my God. Her race has nothing to do with his.
Right.
And the people that are trying to connect dots between the two of them and make her an enemy of progress because she won't weigh in on him favorably are counterproductive, and I think they know they're counterproductive. But if we're going to talk about who had the more impressive showing, it's not Mamdani.
Right.
It's not. He like for him to perform here in this city, this very blue city, and only win by about 8 points. Spanberger is...
Well, and what does it say? I mean, there's a large percentage of people who still believe in what Andrew Cuomo has to say. And there's 7% of New Yorkers who love Curtis Sliwa. And, you know, like, it's a tight victory. And in his speech, it was not a let's bring everyone in. His speech was, "We did it, bitches, and socialism's here." Let's quote Eugene Debs. I don't know if that's the way I would do it. And then Andrew Cuomo's concession speech, which is very lackluster because he's a lackluster candidate. But he said, "I want to congratulate Zoran Mamdani for winning," and his audience started booing. And he said, no, we do not do that. You know, he won his race. Good for him. We didn't win. It's okay. There's a difference. There's a class.
I agree.
Zoran was like dancing on the grave, which is fine because I know I was last night, but I was beating a Republican.
Well, Abigail Spanberger congratulated Winsome Sears on her career and said, "Thank you for your service to our country, to our state, whatever." Yeah. I thought that was very classy. But like,
generous.
As an example of what I'm talking about, I posted about every other race on my personal social media except for this one because this one doesn't excite me.
It doesn't. I don't care about it, and that's okay.
It's okay that it doesn't excite me. And somebody messaged me 3 different times to be like, "Where's your post about Zoran? You seem to like to not acknowledge him." And I'm like, I don't have to.
Yeah, you don't.
I don't have to. And it's okay that I don't like him. It's fine that I don't like him.
Right.
I'm glad that the people who like him in New York City got their way. I don't hate him. I'm not anti him. He doesn't excite me, and I think he's going to be counterproductive for the party. So I'm not expecting like it's funny because like the people who love this guy expect all of the people that don't love this guy to get on board. They suddenly understand it. They suddenly understand the mentality of vote blue no matter who. Now that one of their people is in a position of leadership. Right. But it's okay for us to disagree on this. It's okay for us to have a wide range of people in our party, and in fact, we need that.
And if I was living in New York City, I don't know who I would have voted for. I don't know if I would have voted in this race.
Well, I think that's wrong.
I wouldn't have voted for creepy Cuomo, and I wouldn't have voted for socialist Zoran. So
I mean, I know who I would have voted for, but I don't think
it's Cruz Sweewa, baby.
Yeah, no.
I'm kidding. I'm joking.
I know how I would have voted, but I wouldn't have been happy about any of the options. But that's the thing is, we've been telling people forever, you got to vote, even if you don't love the person. And I'm telling you, I would have voted.
And I'm excited to see if he can outrun the effects of being mayor, which is the most unpopular job in the country, by having a sexy social media campaign. So let's see how he does it.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see how things work.
It truly is open.
I am. Yeah,
I have not been excited by him so far. So I think, should we close on Prop 50?
We're back, baby.
Outran Harris in the state.
They outran all the Democrats that in the a Democrat in California wins 60-40. Let me pull this up real quick.
It's 64.
It's 64 to 30 something.
36 or something. I personally hope that because the way that Prop 50 is written is basically it's like we're giving the governor permission to redraw who does it give power to? It gives power for the maps to be redrawn. It does not specify what the map is.
So the Cook Political Report just posted, and I want to say this. So this is the great thing about this is, first of all, the races in those districts were going to be competitive next year anyway, for the most part. There's 12 seats that are now going to be redrawn. Only one of them has switched from lean Republican to solid Republican. That's Young Kim's district, California 40. The rest of them, which were either lean Republican, likely Republican, or solid Republican, are now all solid Democrat, and that's 11 seats. I think we are going to win those 5 plus the ones that were already competitive, that were going to be competitive anyway. Mm-hmm. This is a wipeout for them, and here's the deal.
But I hope that we go further. I don't know. I don't know if he will or can.
I don't know if he can.
But he proposed a map. The map is not what was on the ballot. The ballot was saying we're giving the power to do this.
Yeah.
For the next 6 years.
Right.
To the governor or whatever. That's what's on the ballot. So I hope he goes further, and I hope he eliminates every single Republican seat in the state, but whatever.
I agree.
Another win last night was that Kansas is ditching their map redraw. Did you see that?
Yes.
Indiana apparently still doesn't have the votes for theirs.
They are threatening to primary challenge anyone who votes against the map, though.
Oh, yeah. I think Florida is going to do theirs.
Yeah, because in Indiana, sorry to jump in on this. In Indiana, there's 2 solid. Or there's one lean Democrat seat. There's one solid Democrat seat, and then there's one it can be, depending on the wave, it can be a competitive seat, but it leans Republican. In 2018, the Democrat only lost by 1 point in that seat. They're trying to rewrite that seat basically to make it solid. The state is a 60-40 state. And it should be 3 Democrat seats, 6 Republican seats in Iowa. But right now it's 2-6.
Indiana.
In Indiana,
yeah.
Sorry. I'm also thinking about Iowa. But in Kansas, the seat that Sharice Davids sits in is actually a Republican-leaning seat, but she wins it by solid margins. I know why she wins it, but that's a solid seat for us now because she's in it. The seat that's outside of her district there has been very competitive in the last 2018. It was very competitive. Laura Kelly won it when she ran for governor both times. That is going to be into play. Just a little fun fact of trivia. In 2006, there was a Democrat who won that seat, Kansas 3, I think.
2006.
And she won it, and then she lost it in 2008. I was going to say 2008. She just ran last year for it again, which I didn't know, and she lost, of course. But I think the map is going to be very interesting next year. So I'm very excited.
Well,
I love winning, Kyle.
I love winning, but like the last night to me feels like if that is the beginning of the wave building, Steve Kornacki was asked, like, what was your biggest takeaway from tonight? And he said, we had a poll that showed the generic ballot at Democrat +8. This looks consistent with that. We're a year out. If the wave continues to build, I think Sherrod Brown has a shot.
Yeah.
I think if it's like Tallarico versus Paxton, we have a shot in Texas.
Yep.
I think we have, if Mary Peltola runs in
Alaska,
we have a shot. I think if we put up someone strong in Iowa, we would have a shot.
I forget who the candidate is, but he's cool.
We won't really get into Maine because we know how we feel about this. But
I think we'll have a shot.
I think we're going to flip Maine.
Yeah.
I think we're going to flip Maine anyway, to be honest.
And then we'll
Georgia
flip
will
the
hold.
Iowa governor mansion, Rob Sand.
Maybe.
I mean,
This is all a big if. This is if.
But we need the hopium.
Oh, yeah. I agree. But yeah, I feel really good about this. I think what I want to close on is
I love winning more than I love losing, Kyle.
Well, that's the point that I'm about to make, which I talked to you about last night, and you're like, please don't spend too much time on this. But I felt so excited last night, and I still feel excited. I'm very tired, but I am very excited about what happened in the country last night. There is no reason for last year to have gone the way that it was. There was no excuse. So, like, last night really should have been... Last night is how a year ago should have felt. We, as a country, and as a party, and as a people, as a party with leaners, need to get better, like so much better, and do so very quickly at not only going to vote for a really cool Band-Aid, but like showing up to prevent injury in the first place. Because last night these are not net gains for Democrats. As good as it feels, as exciting as it is, and as necessary as it is, we are not building on existing progress. This is damage control. This was a damage control election because of what happened last year.
Right.
There is no reason for last year to have happened the way that it happened. It does not have to be this way. And as a party, we need to... The reactionary nature of how we vote hurts us so much. We allow the damage to happen, and then we all swoop in, and there's a wave, and everyone's like, oh, I feel hope again. I feel hope again. But that should not have happened. Mm-hmm. It should not have happened. We should have been in a place where Harris was the president, and this year we maybe experienced a loss in New Jersey, potential loss in Virginia, and it wouldn't be the end of the world.
Right.
Because the institutions that hold us...
Well, the long story short, Kyle, that I have is... people need to keep showing up. They need to show up in 2026. They need to show up in 2027. They need to show up in 2028. They need to show up in 2029.
This has to happen every year.
Every year. We need a manageable majority.
Yep.
And I think in 2027, I think that Mississippi's governorship, it might be a lean Democrat. Mm-hmm. I think that it will.
We did flip 2 state Senate seats last night and broke the supermajority.
Right. I mean, things are changing. I think things are really on the up and up. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm pretty happy about everything.
Yep.
And, it was a good night for left of center Democrats.
Let's lib out.
I love libbing out.
And then let's get ready for the midterms.
Heck yeah.
All right. Bye.